Hello and welcome to my watch reviews. Guess who's back on the bench? It's CIGA Design. Not one this time, but two. Now what on earth could they possibly be bringing to the show this time? Well, let's start off with the main watch. They've finally done it, guys. We have got the Atlantic version of the GPHG award-winning watch by CIGA Design. The GPHG awards are like the watch Oscars back in 2022. For the original watch, which I still have here, they won that award. And they've been basically milking it ever since. And kind of why not? We have gone from this sort of iteration to this. Now, in my last video of the Blue Planet 2, we sort of compared the differences. A lot of it like the higher dome on the newer ones, better topography, better legibility. They're kind of answering the questions that the critics people had and trying to make the watch better. So here we are with the Atlantic, and I'm very pleased to see this. Please excuse the light because of this domed crystal. Sapphire crystal, I might add. It plays havoc. I'm going to be putting some outdoor shots up as well, but equally they play havoc with the light as well. We will be going on the microscope to have a closer look at this, but first of all, look, I'm in England. Finally I can see myself on the map. We have Europe that is very condensed, the Africa, and then South America, North America, Canada, Alaska, and so on. Of course, it is the Atlantic version of the Blue Planet. So we have to remember that it's all about the oceans rather than the land masses. You know, I did in the last video Blue Planet 2. So when we put them side by side, here I have the whole world in my hands. Isn't that fantastic? Look, I can put them together like this. And I mean, I'm making light of it really. But yeah, you kind of get the gist. So there's something for everybody. We'll be comparing the two again a little bit later on. So they've just basically done the same as the Blue Planet 2 with the same type of upgrades. And that being, it's more legible than the original. You have a slightly loomed, numbers basically, and the pointer here to tell the time. This is a watch for a showpiece in your collection. It's the oddity thing. It's not one that you're going to read the time very quickly, but it's a statement piece and you can have lots of conversations about it. So, you know, to read the time is fairly straightforward. You've just got this one pointer and it's going to tell you between the hours and the minutes where we are. This is the hard part. Once it's down here at this section of the watch, it's very difficult to sort of, when it's on your wrist, to tell the time. You've got 3 here, it's going to be 4. So we're 5 o'clock, and we're 25 past 5, essentially. If I wind this on all the way up to 12, you will see just how it works. I've gone through this on all the iterations before, but just in case you're tuning in for the first time, there is 12 o'clock. Okay, the hour, the compass lines up with that. When we go to 1 o'clock, we are basically going to be lining up the 00, there's 1 o'clock. So you've got some fancy trickery in the movement itself, certainly with the ratios of the gears. This whole globe, it will be basically your minute wheel, if you like, and that's got a bigger ratio on it because it's got to go past 360 degrees for 1 revolution to tell the time, all still doing that whilst within an hour. So it is quite clever. Obviously the outer dial with the minute track stays where it is. I've always found that once you start wearing these, telling the time, it gets very, very easy. It's just a little bit harder down here. And if you're out in that night time, I don't know, a party or something like that, you haven't really got much a chance to read the watch time at all. But as I keep saying, that's not the point of this particular watch. The typography is still really good. This is micro carving. I'm just going to sort of turn it around so we can kind of make sense of where we are. So all the detail is supposed to be on to scale, you know, with the mountain ranges and things like that. It takes a very long time for them to carve each dial. I'm not surprised. It's going to be done on a milling machine of some kind with some very intricate little cutters to get all that fine detail. yeah, and the more you look at it, the more I always seem to admire these things. You know, from these acute angles again, you can see. But it is about the oceans, you know. I kind of think that there's a little more detail in the, I'm going to call this a southern hemisphere. Again, we just turn that up so we've got India in the middle, for instance. Because there's a lot more landmass on this one, I think it just looks a little bit better than our version. I'm kind of a little bit disappointed that England and Ireland are just this little afterthought at the side here, and Europe is very, very small. My wife is Czech, and I'm never going to be able to find Czech Republic on there, am I? But that's kind of not the point. Right, so turn it over. On the back, this version is the stainless steel version. The last one they sent me here was actually titanium. It does say on the case back titanium at the top here. Still very highly polished. You can't tell the difference, to be honest with you, between the two steels, other than the weight. This one is 109 grams. This one I think was 86 from memory. So just ever so slightly heavier. So again, sorry for all the hand shots. It's just the only way I can really sort of show these off. The diameter of these is 46 millimeters. I'll put a wrist shot of it up now. It sounds massive, 46. It is kind of big. And because it's round, it is, you know, referred to as a hockey puck. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but I still can't like it. I mean, I do like quirky watches. And 46 wears well enough for a big sort of statement piece like this. So when we're looking at the back here, we have stainless steel, 3 atmospheres, so it's not very water resistant at all, and I don't really want to test that. Sapphire crystal, designed by CIGA Design. They're obviously still boasting about the award there in the centre. Why not? Nothing wrong with that. It is the same movement as in the Blue Planet 2, and you can tell by that one the way the rotor spins. I still suspect that this is a Miyota, and I think it's a Miyota 9 series. Judging by that potential train wheel bridge that we can see there. I recently did a video taking one of those apart over on the main channel. 9 series are all very nice, high beat. Not that you would notice a high beat on this because it doesn't have a second hand, but I don't know, there's something about the Miyota. Given these watches at the moment are $1,200, I think there is a discount at the moment, and there might even be a 20% discount actually. If there is, I'm going to put it on the screen for you now. When we go back to the original, this is the one that did win the award. I don't think anybody really knew what the movement was in here, other than it's clearly an ETA 2824 clone of some sort. You've got a lot of perlaging in there and Genève striping, so it made it look very nice. But perhaps they had problems with this movement on warranty or something. We know, or I know, that Miyotas are pretty much bulletproof. They don't particularly go wrong. They're not all that flash. They are being used a lot more at the moment. So it could be just something like that. But equally, you know, the skeptic in me, it could be just because it's cheaper. That means that CIGA Design can make more money. Right, I did say they've got 2 watches, so I want to mention the other one because it's quite important. So which one of these is watch number 2? Well, I can tell you, it's the one on the left. Appearances look a bit deceiving in this light and this angle, but essentially they've made a smaller version. This version here is a 43 millimeter. So again, answering the critics, we don't like 46. We think 46 is too big, and it possibly is for some wrists. Let's make a smaller version, and that is exactly what they've done here. The only thing with the smaller version that I've been a little bit disappointed with, to be honest with you, is the legibility, essentially. When we go and put it next to its bigger brother, the bigger brother, the Blue Planet 2, had upgrades. Those upgrades were the loom, which kind of made it a lot more legible to start with. they've not done that on this smaller one. It is literally, I've got how many of these watches lying around. It is literally the same scales as they used on the original, and that makes legibility a lot harder to actually see. But the detail is still there. I'm going to switch on this other light and we can look at that topography again. Look, it looks pretty good, doesn't it, in this light? Certainly. Look at it, all shadows over the mountains and things. So the carving has been very good. I just think it's the legibility that has let it down a little bit. They've kept the crown big, which is good, because another problem was the crown on the original. Here it is a little bit small and it was hard to grip. So these are a lot easier to grip. This watch is hand winding, it is automatic, and it is hacking when you pull out the crown as well. So, you know, setting the time is not a problem. I just like the fact that it is smaller as well. I'll put a wrist shot of this one up now. And there it is. You tell me what you think. Because I'm being used to wearing the 46, I think the bigger one's better. I can see more strap on this one than I could on the 46. But again, you know, some like it smaller. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that 43mm watch is smaller, because normally 43 is well out of my size zone. So with the 43, we have still got a very high domed crystal, again, to give you all of that lovely detail. And we have exactly the same movement squeezed in the back there, as you can see by that rotor all sort of juddering around. Still possibly a myota. The straps on all of the new versions is this fluoro rubber. Now, you've probably heard every YouTuber I can't even say it, reviewer talk about fluoro rubber. Until you handle it, you know, you might just think it's any old rubber. It's just got a different feel to it. It's very soft, very supple. When you wear it, it's nice. This watch does make you sweat a little bit because there's no sort of gaps, vents or anything like that for it to wick away. It's all got a deployant clasp. Every one of them have. It's a bit of a hidden deployant. You've basically got to push the clasp here itself and out it comes, and then this end will just unclip. But once you've sized it up, I suppose it's quite straightforward. Nice signed buckle, same on all of them. Albeit this strap is 18mm from memory and the other one is 20. So appearances here, they look quite similar or the same, but they're not. They're a different size. Right, let's test them out on the time grapher. I've set it to 51 degrees for the lift angle. If it's a 9 series myota, then that's what it should be. If you're using a time grapher, just a little tip, always try and put your crown against the piezo. This is a part of the mic, and it just helps. Certainly on thick cases like these, where it might not be able to hear as well, it'll pick it up much better through the crown, trust me. Wow, straight off the bat, look at that. I mean, okay, these watches, it's just picking up my talking. Let's just turn it down a little bit. These watches are high priced items, let's face it. It's $1,000 or more. So for that money, you do want some quality. Yeah, you're getting the craftsmanship of the micro carving and a really interesting piece in your collection, but it's still got to be reliable. That is a watchmaker's dream trace. Trust me, I've repaired hundreds, if not 1,000 watches now. Amplitude is great. Beat error is absolutely rock steady. Plus 2 seconds a day. In reality, I'm sure that's not what it's going to be. We can just try and move it into some different positions, like we've got crown down here, for instance, and you will get variations with gravity taking effect, but essentially we're not seeing much change, are we? The rate will change this. It's going to go to plus, I don't know, there we are, 8 seconds a day. We can just quickly try crown up. All depends on where the balance wheel actually is in the movement. And there we go, look, it's stopped hearing it. There we are, it's come back. So in crown up, it's okay. We should be really testing as well minutes in each position, not hurriedly like I'm doing now, but purely because I also want to test the other one. It's the same movement, we should get the same readings, to be honest with you, but it just gives an indication of how these are set up from factory, how they're regulated. I'm going to be honest and say that I don't think Miyota will have sent them out of the factory this accurate. So this will be CIGA Design's own tweaking. Right, here is the other one, the Atlantic version, the one that we've been waiting for. I've certainly been waiting for anyway. And let's see what we get. Oh, straight away, straight lines. Look at that. I'm very impressed. I have to say, I've reviewed a lot of watches. I've worked on a lot of watches. You don't get readings. I mean, this is perfect, look. The rate is perfect. The amplitude might be slightly lower. I don't know whether it's fully wound. I've just put some wind into it. Beat error, spot on. They're definitely regulating these at factory. And they're regulating them well. And this one isn't particularly gaining at all. We're getting a little bit of noise. And sometimes that also can be sort of, you know, reverberating around the tick cam, sometimes be quite loud. As much as I've said these cases are thick. Just for my own peace of mind, put it at the crown. 12, I think we've then done a fair comparison on all of them. As much as this all looks scattering. We're good. We are very, very good. I'm impressed. Let's now have some fun and look at them under the microscope. There's my home country, England. I'm smack bang in the middle. Somewhere sort of here. A place called Coventry. Ireland looks suspiciously large. But there we go. If we're heading in over to sort of Europe and France. Sort of down here, Spain and Portugal. Italy, look. It's all a little bit cramped, isn't it? Can I focus over towards Greece? Only just. So they're sort of like still on the wrong side of the country to us there. The wrong side of the world, sorry, to us there. Coming down into North Africa. I can tell you what is missing, and that's the Canary Islands. I can't see those anywhere, and they should be somewhere down here. Favourite holiday place of mine. There is the compass with the loom on it. I will put a loom shot up now. As you can see, it's okay. Not the greatest by any stretch. Doesn't burn for very long, but I'm not surprised because it's not filling the plots, is it? Just painted on the top. So then over here, and we are now over into South America. We can come up here. Is it the Caribbean over here, look? And then that little thin strip of land. All the way up into, where is it, North America? So sort of California and Arizona. So Florida, somewhere over here, isn't it? New York's up here. And then tell me what you think of these lakes. If you live somewhere near these lakes, are they sort of represented well or not? And then we're going further north, aren't we, up into Alaska and so on. But it's a nice detail, to be honest with you. You can just about sort of see how that's been scraped out and been done even by a machine at this micro level. From an engineering point of view, I think is quite impressive. I also like the texture of the sea. I'm sure that's not carved out. I'm sure that's sort of already in place before they even start doing the carvings. Right, let's just stick the little one on there. I'm going to keep saying that this is 43 millimeters. It's hardly little, and we're getting it's a bit too dark here, isn't it? Let's just zoom out a little bit. So here we are on the little one, looking directly at India here, and then up here's is this the Himalayas? I think it is from memory. My geography of this side of the world isn't as good, I have to say. but that carving still looks great, doesn't it? Excuse the fibre, that is on the glass look. And that's what it's like when it hasn't got loom. Bit of a disappointment. And again, this is the, you know, east coast of Africa, isn't it? Is that Madagascar? Can't remember. And then up into all the into the juicy bits there. Look, so yeah, it's not bad, is it? I'm trying to see if there's a way I could then try, if I can't concentrate on India there, and I'm going to bring in the other one, the big one, and we can see if the carving is the same or more detailed on the bigger one. There is India. I have to excuse the reflections, we are going through that glass, of course. The Himalayas look a bit more pronounced, don't they, to be honest? Or do they? No. I think it's fairly representative on the smaller one. Still pretty decent, isn't it? Right, okay, let's just, while we're on the scope, flip it over. Have a little look through the glass at the movement. And I can tell you now, right, that's 100% to my Ota. I must have said this on the Blue Planet 2 review some, was it a couple of months ago, a year ago. I know my Ota movements because I work on the damn things, and I know this type of dual setting on the balance wheel, because when you actually undo this and take it apart, there's a funny little spring underneath that you only see them in my Otas. So it is 100% a my Ota movement. I can also see the typical hacking lever down here. Let's see if we can see that in action just as the rotor goes past. See, that's it. Just go over there and stop. It's stopping the balance wheel, this one. Let's see. Some of them stop the escape wheel. This one just touches the balance wheel to stop it. Very simple but effective. It's a serviceable movement, very easy to service. How you would service it on this one, that is always the concern with watches like this. You're not going to be able to get the movement out the back. You're going to have to somehow blow out the glass on the front in order to remove the dial to service it, and I don't even have a clue how to do that other than pressure. You'd have to blow some pressure through the crown here to pop the glass off, and then hope you can get it back on again. Well, there we go. There's all four in front of you. My little collection, if you like, and I think that's why CIGA Design keeps sending them, because I hang on to these things because I like them as oddities and I do wear them. And you know, I think watches like this, you do need to try them. You can dismiss this now in the comments and say, no, it's not for me, big horrible round watch. But you've got to see these sort of things. And recently I did a watch fair for Vario, for instance, the brand, and I represented them, and there were micro brands there. It was in Birmingham in the UK. It was called Watch It Fair, and CIGA Design were there on another stall. So they did have some of their watches there on display, and at these events you can go up to the stalls. You don't have to buy anything, they're not necessarily for sale anyway, but you get to handle the things, try them on. Now, if they're doing things like this in your country, certainly in the UK, I know there's ones in London, I think they're later in the year, then go along to these things, because you can try not only these type of watches on, but other people's as well. Gives you much more of a better opinion of what us reviewers are reviewing. Certainly with something like this, it's a hard sell. I'm not here to sell them, far from it. But yeah, just consider something like that. I think if there's a new fair coming up, and I think there's one in Bristol in the UK in September maybe, then I will let you guys know. I'll put it in the chat within the channel here, and I'll actually ask CIGA Design whether they've got any more plans to show their watches at other fairs in light of this conversation I'm having now. So I do think that these represent good value. You know, $1,000 $5 or so is a lot of money for a watch, but then it's not a lot of money for a watch at the same time. Had this been a Swiss watch with the pedigree of having a watch Oscar, you'd be paying significantly more money. Yes, it's a unique design, but that's what I like about it. Here is the original one. It's a lot easier to film the original one. I still prefer, to be honest with you, the brushed casing that has. The flatter profile to the crystal makes it easier to film, but it's the less sort of topography on the carving. These more domed ones, the new ones, are far superior. You can see them just lying here. They do look a lot prettier and a lot more detailed. Thanks for watching this video. Leave your comments below. I'm going to read every one, try to reply to as many as I can. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you've not been here before. I will see you very soon in the next review. Thank you very much. Bye for now.